All right, Tati, we're back. So, one of the things that you and I have talked about, over the years is those people that walk into offices and they're like, "Oh, I got it. I got it. It's a silver bullet. It's this technology thing. It's unbelievable. It's going to solve all your problems. You just press the button and you're done, right? Oh, and don't worry, it's like a 7, 8 figure investment. No big deal." The world has changed, but it hasn't changed that much. There are still people that are talking about artificial intelligence in the enterprise that way. And I wonder if maybe, with your understanding, if you can help people understand, what does it take to stand up a pilot or POC with all these whiz bang technologies and start generating results that you can kind of scale behind versus that crisis that a lot of companies are facing where they're like, hey, we got all these pilots and POCs, but nothing's going to scale because like we were told it was a silver bullet and there's actually a lot of domain expertise that's needed. And I don't know that we have the right stuff. Like, how do you think about that now, knowing all the things that you now know about the world of AI and otherwise, and blending, domain expertise and technology and so on and so forth together? And how can you help people that are a little nervous about this because maybe they don't understand as much as they'd like to, and you can help them?
And boy, there's so many folks selling the silver bullets out there, and yet the
Always.
werewolves are still all around. So it's pretty, and I at one point I was in that spot too. I've always been very curious about technology and always very involved. But at one point, there's a crucial piece that is the bit of the elephant in the room. Saying that quiet part out loud, which is most of these teams are overloaded
Yep.
with various things to do. So it needs to be the right partnership in which they're truly adding value to that partnership and they're truly supporting you in the areas of the POC, whether it's process management and process change management itself. What does that workload look like? And I would say that that's my number one. If I'm looking at a POC, a proof of concept that will work, is the transparency and the understanding. And that's also, by the way, a bonus question on, does this company that I'm looking to work with know what they're talking about?
Yep.
Are they transparent on workload,
Yep.
process changes, change management? Do they understand any of that? Do they have, to your point, do they have the domain expertise on their end? And when you're talking domain expertise on their end, it's not, if you're selling a program that's going to solve my operational problems, your domain expertise cannot just in technology.
Mm-mm.
It cannot be just technology, because then you build a tool that works in a perfect scenario. You may have heard what happens, and that's where I think a lot of this breaks down with the POCs, because a lot of them consider they work from a premise of a perfect scenario, a perfect amount of labor, a perfect system, a perfect integration, a perfect amount of resources, whether those are human resources, financial resources, and what have you. So that is one key thing. The other piece for the POCs to work, and I see this happen often in them falling flat, is, did you identify the right issue?
Yeah.
And that's something that I have particularly been very focused on my entire career. Is something that I have been very successful in creating change by, because that's the number one. I'm mentioning it number two here, but truthfully, that is the number one. If you cannot identify the right issue or the right couple of issues, and by the way, I will warn here, I put a little asterisk on, you have to, the successful leaders, and that's actually on the BCG, the Boston Consulting
Yeah.
Group report as well. The successful leaders are the ones that focus on fewer key issues. If you cannot identify the one or two things that you need to solve, the right ones, what's the flavor that's unique to your company? That's another place where you could have a massive breakdown between what you're being sold and what you're going to get in your company. Is that many times, yes, retail, a lot of the problems are the same problems. Absolutely. And you're very familiar what those problems are in your company. And it could be similar, but the flavor, the exact combo of how that's going to come together, it's going to be different. It's like a DNA, it's like a thumbprint. It's going to look slightly different from company to company, from department to department. If you don't have that domain expertise on both sides, and the availability of the resources to understand, and is not accounted for, you're not going to get it. And I would say the third one Also incredibly important, another place where this breaks down is on current system considerations, right? And I'm not talking just tech, the operational process also, but if you're using a half-baked 30% accurate spreadsheet to track your key metrics, which another elephant in the room, so many companies are still working with various files, with Excel spreadsheets. I only have love for Excel, but that's not the greatest place to have your metrics today. There's so many other ways in which you could be harvesting the right data, because it's so manual, right? I guess that's the right way to put it. A state-of-the-art tool that you're bringing in, that silver bullet, that magic that is not magic, it takes data and transforms into something very tangible, is going to drive outcomes that are going to be myopic at best, maybe legally blind, if not completely blind.
Let me ask you a question on that. You just triggered for me. So let's put ourselves on the grills a little bit. Let's talk about I don't know how to say it, the retailer, right? So the retailer, they've got the domain expertise, the expert that really is running the business and understands the business. And that person has either a peer or a team underneath him or her that is the IT and technology team. And so tell me about what a really functional relationship looks like between those two versus one that maybe isn't so functional. And how do you solve for some of the challenges with internal IT and technology teams that aren't necessarily as helpful in standing up an appropriate POC? And what are some of the causes of those challenges?
It's interesting you're speaking about that, because that's a key issue. I was looking at the Gartner CIO survey that they did, talked about the high performing CIOs versus the others, which high performing CIOs, 65% were helping business areas identify their technology needs. So that helping communication, we can insert several different verbs in here to say, how are they working together? So working together is the key there. And I would say that the shift in successful organizations is going from IT processes, looking at IT processes, something completely separate from operational processes, that later on you find a way to put them together. The most successful teams are the ones and will be the ones that adapt the technology approach to the business needs, not the other way around. So that CTO, that CIO, that head of IT that is working towards it has to continuously work with the operational teams to harvest, to get the information that is going to inform the right, well before they have the vendor, well before they have the definition. Because I was in so many times in that seat when by the time as a head of operations, I will find, or the head of a business unit, I will find out about something so far into that process, right? You already purchased, you already have defined, even all the way back to definition of budget. Where are you spending? Where are you looking to spend it? Where do we need this the most? So that relationship and that communication is absolutely crucial for this to work. I'll also say something else, which is it's maybe not shared by everyone. I'm happy to be challenged in this, but in my observation, you also have, yes, you have incredible people on the teams, but the domain expertise is different from place to place. So at times, you're going to need many times, especially now with such a unique landscape of tools and solutions. And I cannot expect that person, that operator that is fantastic at their job, is able to build that bridge between that and technology, because that was not what they were awesome at to start with, right? They're awesome at something else. So having the right partner that can build that bridge between what the IT team is talking about, what the operations team is talking about, what your operation actually needs, and the technologists that are building that tool, having that central figure that, whether it's a team or person, it has to be a collaboration. There's no, I would say, one of the questions one of the things we were talking about earlier, you were talking about like how when a team comes up and tells you, hey, we found the silver bullet, is amazing. One of my first questions to them is that what do they expect from us? What is the involvement our team needs to have on this? Because that to me is the number one flag that's going to go up if they say, oh no, they don't need anything, they just need they just need our money and access to our systems. And I'm like, oh, wait a second, if they don't, they're not working with you. And sure, there are ways in which you can create efficiencies and build this in a very intelligent, smart way when it becomes an extension of your team. Because frankly, I don't think I've ever had a team that could take on a full other project on top of everything else they were doing at any point in time. They need help. But what if they know what they're doing, they will know how far they can go with the help and how much they need from you back, from your team.
More things change, more stay the same, right? That people process, the culture bit, is a big part of this. So as always, I appreciate it. And we'll wrap it up there and come back for more again sometimes very soon.
Thank you.
You bet.